Hi, Marcus. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, really good. So, I don't know, a month or two ago, I'm not sure how long it was, I was kind of scrolling through LinkedIn and I see that my friend Marcus was promoted from President of Sales to President of Corporate Environments. So, wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's I'm excited about it. I've been with the company now for 8 years and started off as the sales manager for the organization and continued to work hard and work my way up. And now here we are as president. So it's an exciting moment. Last year we had our biggest year in history. And so
Man,
it's a
okay,
fun time to be part of corporate environments.
for sure. And you have a variety of furniture offerings, but primarily MillerKnoll, right?
Correct. Yes, we are one of two MillerKnoll dealers here in Atlanta.
Okay. So how has your role changed from, leading sales efforts to president?
Well, I feel like I was doing some of it before because we're a smaller, more nimble dealer. But ultimately, I've been more involved at a high level strategy level recently, working on expansion efforts, working on personnel, working with our leadership teams, just making sure that there's consistency across those types of things within our organization. Also
Okay,
working very closely with some of our key partners, as you mentioned, Miller Knoll. We're also a dirt dealer as well, so making sure that we're maintaining relationships with some of the key people within those organizations.
that's right. And like court too.
Exactly, like court.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Um, so on the strategy side, are you directly involved with customers on the strategy or kind of leading your organization as they are providing strategy?
So there's some customers where I would act as the executive sponsor for corporate environments, heavily involved with like UPS and at one point Coca-Cola. I'm involved with a number of key clients in the Southeast region because we do have an office in Savannah as well. Whether that's supporting our team with our RFP responses, whether it's going to some of the client presentations as we're bidding on some of the larger projects, whatever it is that the team and the client feels that they need from corporate environments is kind of where I step in and support.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So one of the questions I had written down was just what trends have you seen change, say, in the last 4 years? What from a client perspective? Can you sum that up?
Yeah, I would say here in Atlanta, I mean, one of the big things that we have seen over the years, I remember when I first started 8 years ago, it seems like A&D firms were like the key driver of a lot of the larger opportunities that are out there, and they're still very involved now. But commercial real estate, so like the JLLs, the Cushmans, the CBREs, are a lot more involved on the front end. A lot of times we'll receive bids that are coming directly from commercial real estate. So we've pivoted a little bit and armed our team with what they need to go after a lot of those types of decision makers successfully, and making sure that we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket with A&D or with the end user or with the GCs, but commercial real estate definitely is a key influencer on a lot of the big deals here in the Atlanta market. I would also say, post pandemic, I think that, or I know that a lot of our customers are thinking differently with what their space looks like. Just like with us at corporate environments, we're thinking of ways to creatively bring our people back to work. Our clients are
Yeah,
doing the same, and that goes a lot into how the office is designed, and different things that you might offer from an entertainment standpoint. Just to keep people engaged while they are at work. We don't want it to feel like you're laying in bed at home, but we do want there to be somewhat of a resi-mercial feel, so that, if we are asking you to come to work, that there is that type of balance still in the design of the office.
Yeah, that's a great answer, and I like you saying that you're honestly trying to figure out the same solution for your team. Um,
Right.
Speaking of commercial real estate, I've spent the last couple of years traveling around the country meeting with commercial real estate teams, whether it's project management or agency leasing teams, et cetera, kind of explaining what the furniture as a service model is. And it's pretty powerful. And one of my takeaways is that I think that a number of workplace leaders know that there's a lane where purchasing furniture is what they do. That will never change.
Right.
But there's also the lane now working with CORT with our subscription type model, where the two of them are coming together to solve problems. And that's why we really appreciate our partnerships with corporate environments and others, because we're all supporting those end users with these new kind of tactics. Um,
Absolutely.
so that's good. Um, have you heard much about like sustainability, reuse, circularity in RFPs or just in discussions with your customers?
Yeah, so the conversation around sustainability has been around for a while. I remember when I first started in the floor covering industry, uh, LEED was a big thing. Redless
Yep.
products was also a big thing back then, and it's still part of the discussion today. So I know that with MillerKnoll, which is our main alignment, that is one of the key things that they really focus on, in making sure that they're producing sustainable products, and that we're speaking that language as we engage with our clients. But we are still seeing it on RFPs. If I went back and pulled the last 3 to 4 big ones that we had to submit, there definitely is a lot of content around sustainability in those responses.
Yes. I think I may have mentioned when we met last time that during the CoreNet Global Summit, there was a session put on by JLL and Google where they talked about Google said we're not purchasing furniture in 2023. Instead, we're using this reuse model. And as I thought about that, I'm like, that's not the best thing to hear from a furniture dealer perspective or from CORT's perspective, unless you look at it through this lens of change. And
Yeah.
most companies don't have 200 buildings in their campus, so we have to be aligned to answer that conversation on a little bit smaller level of how does corporate environments and CORT work together to fulfill some of those newer avenues such as reuse. And thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, and if you listen to a lot of the economists out there, I think the South in general is a little bit different than the other regions, in that, at least there's been some consistency with projects here in the Atlanta market. There's a lot of businesses moving to Atlanta and planning their headquarters here. So that definitely has been a great thing. But we also have encountered some of our largest clients trying to figure out ways to reuse products that they may have in building locations that they shut down. I mean, one of our largest clients here in Atlanta, who I won't mention the name, but they were trying to figure out a way to take all of the furniture that they had out of a location up north and bring it to the city and reuse it for a space that they had here where they were bringing more employees back. So helping them navigate those types of situations has been interesting. But obviously, we're in the business to sell as much new product as possible. And if not, using
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I was talking to a colleague today about how we really are furniture consultants. You and us, both of our teams, because you want to figure out what the end result is. Most of the time, they're going to purchase, but sometimes they're not. And so that's a direction we're definitely seeing kind of light up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know this, but maybe for some of the listeners, was just a few years ago when there was kind of a merger with Herman Miller and Knoll. And how has that been for you guys, and what are some of the benefits of this larger organization?
So it's been great for us. I mean, you take two well-known, very successful brands and manufacturers that also have several different lines under both umbrellas, and you join those together, and it really creates an unstoppable force. For us in Atlanta, we have taken full advantage of that. As I mentioned earlier, there's two MillerKnoll dealers here in Atlanta, and we both have access to all of the MillerKnoll products. But for us, it gave us access to some things that we just didn't have before, like Herman Miller's seating line is great. I mean, they have a lot of options for different applications. And so we're a legacy Knoll dealer. And when we gained access to Herman Miller, it really, gave us another advantage for seating and other areas where there was just gaps before. So we actually had projects lined up before we officially were given the green light to start selling Herman Miller product, because there was somewhat of a gap when it was originally announced to the point where we were able to sell it. So our team was very excited about it. I would also say we play fair in the sand with our competition here in Atlanta. And so there's really not a lot of instances where we're going after a lot of the same projects and we're banging heads on the same things. It's clear where our relationships are versus where theirs are. So having those two major manufacturers come together has really helped take corporate environments to the next level.
Yes, that's a good point, and I mean it circles back to selling and supporting clients anyway. It is about those relationships, and some of them go back for many years, and
Right.
so that's good. And also, CORT is a client of Herman Miller. We buy lots and
Absolutely.
lots of Herman Miller chairs, so we know they have great seating products.
Yeah.
Um, what else is new in your world or with your team, or some of the exciting developments that is keeps y'all going?
So I would say it's just for us because of the pace that we've grown. It's really just making sure that we keep up with that pace. I mean, obviously, with the amount of volume increase that we've seen over the last couple years, we've had to make sure that we continue to beef up our team and to make sure that all of our salespeople excuse me, have the type of support that they need to execute their projects at a very high level. So, hiring at a very fast pace, I would say is somewhat new because, I remember not last year, but the year before, we actually hired 20 people in 1 year. And so
Wow.
it's a lot of people for a dealership who is around like 80 people. So, and that was really just to beef up and to help support a lot of the volume that was happening. So that is that is definitely something that I work on every day, just making sure that we've got the right teams in place. Um, but also we have an architectural side of our business too. So, we're a dirt aligned dealer, and so making sure that we continue to be a presence on the architectural wall side of things. It's definitely an area that we're continuing to focus on. There's a lot of market share out there to gain here in the Atlanta market, so that is also a key initiative that we're working on. But I would say, lastly, I mean, if you look at all the dealers in Atlanta, it's different than what it was 8 years ago from when I first started. And so, different leadership at some of the different dealers and different personnel changes, all positive things for the Atlanta market. It's just different. So just making sure that as one of the leaders of this company, that I'm knowledgeable on, and that I have a pulse on what's going on in our backyard is extremely important to make sure that we remain relevant to the industry.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that you're like everywhere. I see you here at this function leading this conversation, this group of people. You're, really out and about, which is what it takes. I guess the last little thing is for maybe some of Court's customers that haven't worked with a great furniture dealership before. What are some of the benefits? Like, it's not just selling furniture. There's a lot of things that happen. So, kind of some of those people you hired, what are those processes?
So I feel like a lot of people don't understand what goes on kind of behind the curtains. There are a lot of different things that we touch at the dealership level. Selling the product obviously is what we're very passionate about, but there's also services that we offer, such as design, project management. We offer warehousing, asset management. There are a number of different things, day two services, which we love to present to our clients as we're working on different projects. Um, there are a lot of different things that we offer as far as a service, and what that means is you have to make sure that you have your engines running at all levels, because there's also a lot of things that can go wrong if you don't have the right people in the place and the right process. So process is something that we're definitely um, really focusing on, just fine tuning. We're not reinventing the wheel by no means, but taking what we currently have and just making sure that every year we're fine tuning the processes that we have in place and that they're relevant for how the market changes each year.
Yeah, that's so important. I know it, and it wasn't that long ago that I visited your showroom, and it's just absolutely gorgeous and full of life and energy and ideas, and that's part of the value of what you bring to your customers too. It's just all of that, the knowledge and
Yeah.
expertise and et cetera. And we sure appreciate the partnership. We've worked on a number of things together, and look forward to continuing to do that. So I really appreciate your time. Just a few ideas, but we wanted to tell your story and share
Yeah.
that with our customers and out and about.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to do this, Melanie. You've been a great support for us, and we look forward to, continuing that partnership with Court and anything that we can do to support you moving forward. We're all for it. So thanks for your time today.
Okay, absolutely. And we'll put a little bit of information on how to contact your team too when we share this.
Okay, sounds great.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, have a great day.
You too.
All right.